So, hey guys, today, Eric's not here today. It's just me and an old teammate of mine, Adam Bennett. So, real excited. Adam drove down from, he's living in, you're living in Kitchener right now, right?
Kitchener right now, yep.
Yeah. So Adam was a rookie my last year in the OHL with the Sudbury Wolves. I want to talk to you a little bit about that because I was just up there a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So Adam, just a great player. He got drafted to us as a second overall pick. And when you heard Sudbury, you must went, Jesus.
Where's that?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Sudbury. I think I estimated the population around 17,000 or something. And Sam McMaster's like, I think we're going to be a little north of that. But yeah. Welcome to the Burr.
Yeah. And then Adam was had 2 great years as a defenseman. And then he was drafted 6th overall to the Chicago Blackhawks. Mm-hmm. Played in Chicago up and down. We played in Chicago and then Edmonton. Then an injury, knee injury, and that's all she wrote.
That's it. That's the career.
And then from there, worked sort of kind of in the same sort of business as me in a way. And kind of, I would say, like after we talked quite a bit, I would say that we have like that same passion. It wasn't just about teaching a kid how to stick handle and play. It was about like developing the person himself.
Yeah.
So I would say that, through talking to you and knowing you, that comes through big time. So, and then that pivoted into a mindset business where that's where you mostly focus on now. And what it's called is Adam's Championship or
Champion Mindset.
I always get it mixed up. So
right.
Adam's Champion Mindset. We'll put a blurb on there.
Just Google Adam Bennett knows.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that's what we're doing now. And Adam, we were talking the other day, and I said, why don't you do a podcast with us? It'd be great for you. Because the reason I was, so Adam, we are very, very reluctant on having people on our podcast because we have a thing going here. Mm-hmm. So like when it comes to the mindset and stuff, I love to get that perspective, and not just a perspective of mindset, is perspective from a hockey player, guy that's been there, done it, and and as you know, not everything goes perfect.
Of course. Yeah. Expect it to go wrong.
Yeah. Expect it to go wrong. Yeah, exactly.
And then you're ready.
Yeah. We actually just did a podcast last week about managing expectations and managing disappointments.
Of course. Yeah.
So
it's the biggest thing. I mean, everybody's going to run into problems.
Yeah.
And there's a great book out there called Grit. Right. And what grit is the ability to overcome all of these obstacles and still persevere. And where most people fail is that they stop. Once they hit the roadblock or once an obstacle gets in their way, they don't have the mental power to persevere. Doesn't necessarily mean they don't have the physical abilities to do it. It's just something happens mentally that they're just not able to perform anymore. And so studies have shown time and time again that the guys who last, the guys who make it, are the ones with the highest degree of grit. So even for anybody out there that's pushing and you may not be at the top of the board right now, or first line or power play, if you persevere, right, those guys are going to last longer than the ones that are, have had it easy up to a certain point. And then it's when they become, when they hit that roadblock, and if they don't know how to do it, they tend to fall off. So everybody's opportunity will be there if they have the right mindset.
Yeah. Before we go into that,
okay.
I'm going to say, because it's going to kind of make a little bit of sense, is I was up in Sudbury maybe a month ago. Because my son was playing up there, and we had another couple on the team that went up there, and they said,
"Cool,
yeah, let's go."
Okay,
so we went up to Sudbury. So, dude, hasn't changed. Have you been there at all?
Well, I haven't been there since actually, there was the last time I was in Sudbury was a farewell dinner for Sam McMaster, I think, but that was only a few years after
you were done.
We were done there, so that had to be 90s.
Yeah,
yeah. But I understand the Wolf is still there.
The Wolf is still there.
Yeah.
You go down, and I'm not. See, there's something about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something about the Sudbury Wolves. Like it's.
Yeah.
I didn't want my son to go there.
Okay.
At all. But then.
Why is that?
Because
You're one of those parents.
No. Well, no. I'm going to be honest
just teasing,
with
but
no, I know.
Why not Burr?
I know, but why? Because. That's a good question. I think part of it was personal.
Okay.
I don't like going back. It's my hometown, and I played there, and I didn't want. Okay. I didn't want. Didn't
Bit
want
of
my
a
son to
spotlight
have that.
on him, I imagine.
What's that?
Bit of a spotlight on him, I imagine, if he went back in your
Well,
shadow.
there you go.
Yeah.
You do you get that when we drafted a kid of that was
Yeah,
a player and
yeah.
a coach in the Sudbury Wolves and blah blah blah, and
Right.
that's something that I didn't need. I didn't want him to deal with that for him.
Sure.
I didn't want to go up there. That was my personal
you want to
thing.
be closer.
But then, but if he went, he said he's going. I said, yeah, I get it. So I think that was the main thing.
Had they talked to you? Was that, did
Yep.
they come in and say, we're thinking about taking
Yep.
him? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and but it worked out that he
Yeah.
went early enough, right? So he didn't have to worry about that.
Okay.
But anyways, you go to that city, and I'm not saying it's a bad city at all, but it's like it hasn't changed, dude.
Mm-hmm.
A couple malls are different. That arena, like when
Yeah.
you look at where all the new arenas, it's all modern and stuff, and this is like an
Yeah,
old
the
thing.
old
The only
barn.
thing they've done to
Yeah.
it, so across from or behind the visitors bench,
Mhm.
that side, they put some kind of corporate boxes, which made it a little bit better, but
Okay.
everything else is the same.
Well, if you're a Shoresy fan, do you watch Shoresy?
I've never seen it, heard about it.
Okay. There's the old barn, and
Yeah.
that's where they're filming it in the bowels of the Sudbury Community Arena or whatever it was called. But
Yeah.
that's if it hasn't changed. I heard they were getting a new arena or they were proposing a new
They're looking
arena or
at it.
something. They definitely need one.
Yeah.
The fans were fantastic.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
100%.
loved my time up there. I mean, you were treated like kings. It was their, mini NHL up there. That was their Saturday night, and so that you were treated really well. But I understand, the reluctancy to want to go up there, but it all works out. The universe, opens up what you ask of it.
Yeah, and that's it. So my point of saying that about Sudbury. So your first year when you were drafted,
Yep.
because we're talking about mindset and stuff. So I want to kind of go back to you as a like the highest end prospect in there's Drake Barahowski and you,
Mhm.
and very arguably you could have flipped that pick easily and you could have went first overall to Kingston.
Mhm.
So when you go to Sudbury, I want you to talk as a kid that doesn't know anything, and then maybe talk about what you know now. I could use the
Well-
same thing as when you go to Chicago.
Yep.
So as a rookie NHLer, so you get drafted to the Sudbury Wolves second overall, and what's going through your head at
Mhm.
that point? Because I knew what was going through my head and mine.
Well, okay. Here's the truth. I was from Georgetown, Ontario, small population.
Yeah.
I had never seen an OHL game.
You're kidding me.
No, never watched. I played AA hockey my whole life, where other kids were running off to play AAA. I stayed and played with my friends, and didn't want to leave small town. So I was bantam. Made a decision at that time. Okay, yeah, I want to do this hockey thing, like we're talking about. Okay, I want to play in the NHL. Yeah. I didn't know what that meant. I thought it'd be fun. I'm pretty good at hockey. I was also a good volleyball player, and I almost quit hockey for volleyball because they practiced on the same night. So
Really?
my mom and dad were like, well, what do you want to do? You have a choice to make. Do you want to do the hockey or want to do the volleyball? And I thought, well, there's really no professional volleyball league. I think I'll try this hockey thing. So then what I had to do, because there was only one other player at the time who had left Georgetown for the OHL. I didn't really know what the OHL was, but there was one guy that got drafted, and he was playing in Kitchener.
Who was it? Do you remember?
Steve Marcolini.
Oh,
and
he
there's
was tough.
Great story about him too.
Yeah, he's tough,
okay,
man.
so yeah, he's a Georgetown boy.
Yeah.
His parents owned the sports store, so I knew the family very well. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a hockey player. This is 15. So I went to the family and I went to Steve and I said, okay, what do I need to do? Like, how do you become a hockey player? It's kind of like if you want to know how to bake a cake, you go see the baker, right? If you want to know how to handle money, you go see the banker, whatever, right? So I went to the family and I said, okay, what do I need to eat? How do I train? Like, what do I do? So I modeled myself after Steve Marcolini. He left Georgetown. He's playing in the O. I'm going to follow in his footsteps. So I started training. I started eating. I did the exact same workout that he was doing. I had the same diet that he was doing. Now, he had already moved on. He was in Kitchener, and then I think we went to London, I think, for a little bit or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have played against him.
So I was dealing with his brother who worked. He's a fitness guy. And so he started training me. And then I played junior B hockey in Georgetown. I went from bantam to junior B hockey. And now they call it Tier 2 Junior A. So I'm still in my hometown, still playing with my friends and having fun. And I was playing a summer hockey league, and Sam McMaster was in the stands. And I'm just on the ice doing my thing. And then Sam comes down after, found me and made me a draft pick to the OHL. It says Sudbury. All right, where's Sudbury? I have no idea. Like we talked about, I didn't know anything about it, never seen an OHL game. The first OHL experience was in training camp and then exhibition and then playing. So I didn't have a vision.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, blinded. We've
never
right?
had, think about all those conversations we had on the bus and in the dressing room, and never heard that story before.
I was the naive kid, right? Now you can't get away with it. You can't escape it because they get picked earlier. Scouts and agents are on them earlier. Advisors are on them earlier. For me, I was just playing for the fun of it, and then training, not knowing really the scope of what I was headed into. And then it was, second overall pick. All right, cool. I guess I got to get a suit. I didn't even own a suit. My mom took me to Sears. We picked a suit off the rack. Yeah. And there's your draft pick, and there you go. And then up to the burr. And then, my mom cried every year that I left the house. Even when I played pro, my mom cries every year that I leave, to go for training camp. And it was just la-di-da kind of thing.
So
I didn't have that.
How did you know? This is an honest answer. Yeah. Because I grew up in Sudbury, and I used to go to training camps and watch the bloodbaths, just the beatdowns. Well, you remember our training camps too. There'd be 8 fights in the first 10 minutes. So if you've never been in I'm not. Joe, you think it's funny?
Yeah, they got to earn. They got to earn their stripes. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So I remember. So we were just talking about Bundy earlier. So Warren Ryko was drafted the year or two before me. Year before, and I think he fought, because I was watching him. I go, who's this guy? Because he's not very good at fighting, but he fought about 8 times in 2 days, and then he got better at it. But how the hell did you go in there not knowing? Because I watched the fights. I knew what to expect at training camp. I knew some of the guys, and I used to go there, and I might have to be ready. How did you know to go into camp? Like when you saw that, was it like? Because for me, I was expecting it. How did you know I should fight?
The fighting and stuff like that. I mean, we had some in junior B.
Yeah, I guess.
But but I was what was I, 16 in junior B, and they had guys to do that job. I mean, I never, although it was expected of me at 6'4", 210 pounds almost, you have to fight, you have to do this sort of stuff. I was a playmaker. I was a point getter. Yeah, if you remember, my defense partner was Sean O'Donnell.
Yeah, love Buddha.
Right, Buddha.
Yeah.
So I knew, and he said to me, look, you take the puck, you go, you get the spotlight, whatever. I'm going to hold the fort back here. You do your thing. And there's a guy that had an 18-year career in the NHL.
Oh, he was great.
Oh,
what a great
fantastic.
Yeah.
And what is every team looking for? A stud defenseman that can just carry 30 minutes a night, right? They're all looking for it. But everybody thinks the flash is where it's at. So for me, it was I just had freedom to do whatever I wanted to do offensively. Yes, every once in a while, when you're not on the score sheet, okay, well, I got to get on the score sheet somehow. Okay, well, I'll just drop the gloves and throw them.
Yeah, you did it well.
Well, but I hated it.
Yeah.
If I took one punch, okay, I got to protect.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, it wasn't my thing. But the expectation of coaches, okay, you're going to have to go do this, or if this happens, you're going to have to. It wasn't my game, so I just let the other guys do it, like the Bundys of the world. And I mean, we had, remember Pee Wee Herman, right?
Yep,
he
Pee-wee,
wanted,
that
was going to be his role. Yep. There was guys
Pee-wee,
to do
6'5".
Yeah, we had some big boys.
Yeah.
And we always knew who it was on the other side of the ice, right?
God.
You just check the stats, and okay, 250 PIMs last year. Okay, I'm going to stay away from him. And I just minded my P's and Q's, and I kind of did my thing. And then when I got drafted by Chicago, Mike Keenan was the coach.
Yeah, he's soft, eh?
Well, there the mentality was, okay, yeah, you're going to have to, and I, even on the TSN broadcast when they picked me, I think.
Yeah, so just go back to that.
Oh,
so
yeah,
just to I forgot to mention that because we got going here. So Adam, when you did that for about 3 years, So you brought on TSN, it's the sports network channel in Canada, to do some broadcasting. You did that for about 3 years?
I was on Landsberg's Off the
Yeah,
Record,
Off the
for
Record,
a
that's
few
right.
years, a
Yeah.
regular panelist, and
Yeah.
I would be brought in to argue the counter side.
Yeah.
So I never knew what side I was going to take.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is what people don't understand is that I would. I remember one time we were going onto the set. This was a live one. Every once in a while they'd shoot a live one because something happened in the day, and Landsberg wanted to be right on top of it. And on the panel was Bobby Clark. And
I
as we're
might have
walking,
seen this one.
as we're walking to the set, Landsberg grabs my arm and he says, "Whatever Bobby says, you say the opposite." Like, okay, that's my role. I'm going to play that on because the show doesn't work unless there's competing
Can't all
arguments.
agree.
Yeah, we can't all agree, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
It only works if there's this going on. So during that day, I think that the debate of the day was, should Eric Lindros be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm thinking, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, if you could plant a seed and grow a hockey player, it was Eric Lindros.
Best junior player I've ever seen.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
right? I got a story about Lindros and Junior that we can talk about too.
Yep.
But it was, okay, whatever Bobby says, you say the opposite. All right. Okay, so TV cameras on. Landsberg, should Eric Lindros be in the Hall of Fame? Bobby, your opinion. Now, he's a man of very few words.
Yeah.
His argument was, yes. And that was it. Like, how do you? So then the camera cuts to me because I'm the counter to Bobby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I think I try and make an argument on the spot. Did he really have that long of a career? And I'm just making up shit as I go. I'm just like, pulling stuff out of my ass. Yeah. And then at the end of it all, I finally, after 20 minutes of debate, I finally go, well, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I just want to get that point out there before the cameras are shut off that he should be in the Hall of Fame. But that's how the show went. They knew they could count on me to make a counter argument to basically anything. So,
well, that's hilarious, man.
But my Lindros story, because he was a stud. I mean, he was a man amongst boys.
Well, like he was so good in junior. Remember when he went to play in the Canada Cup at 18?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he rode the pine.
Oh,
he's hammering guys.
He's headbutting on the faceoff.
Yes,
making his presence known. Yeah,
he was so good.
He was unbelievable.
Talkett, Gretzky, all these guys.
Right. Yeah.
So anyways,
I think we had a playoff series against Oshawa.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it started, but Lindros and I are squaring off.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm not the fighter, but I'll try and hold my own.
What you got to do?
Lindros, when he decided the fight was over, he just grabbed my pant leg, flipped me over like a wrestling move, and said, "Okay, we're done." I'm like, "Okay, that's it." Thank you very much. I'll check out right now. Yeah. Like, he was that powerful, and he's 6'5", I think 225 in junior, and I'm 6'4", and he turned me over like a wrestling move.
Absolute monster. Yeah. He'd come through that neutral zone and.
It was scary.
He'd either take your head off or you try to hit him and you'd be laying on your ass.
Well, I tell a story to my clients. Played an OHL All-Star game with Eric Lindros. And I think it was Cornwall. And Eric would come to the bench and he would just say to his line mates, "Okay, I'm going to run around. I'm going to hit everything there is out there." So what he was doing was getting his focus on where he wanted to go. And for the next couple of shifts, he just run around, he just crank everybody. Just
make some room.
Right. Comes back to the bench after a few shifts. "Okay, boys, you go to the net. I'm going to set you up for the goal, right? I'm going to throw it up. You guys make sure you're there." So for the next couple of shifts, now his focus was, this is what's going to happen. And he was so good, he could just make it happen.
Yeah,
right?
this next 3 shifts, this is what we're going to do.
And then he goes, next 3 shifts, I'm going to go score a goal. And then that was his focus. He's just going to go out. He hop over the boards. And so even though he was still cranking guys and setting up plays, his focus was, now I got to, now this is where I'm at. And so it was a great way to reset on the bench and forget about what happened. And now here's what's going to happen. Expect it, boys, and lead the charge over the boards. And we all just kind of sat there like, this was an all-star game. And if people don't know, all-star games in the OHL, the CHL, they're vicious. Like we play
it's
Quebec.
Not. Yes.
I mean, yeah, they're not the scrimmage pickup game that the NHL guys are doing. These were battles, and we were playing Quebec. and he just dominated. It was him and I forget who the Quebec counterpart was, Perot or somebody.
Yannick
Eh,
Perreault? No, not Yannick.
Anyways,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean, he shone. He was just unbelievable in that
It was
series.
crazy.
Just phenomenal player, and so yeah, I just want to state for the record, he should be Hall of Fame.
Well,
Once and for all, if
you
anybody
think
saw
about
that.
like when kids get into that in the OHL, that's a good league, man. It doesn't get any better than that. And to come in as a well, he skipped the first year because he didn't go to the Sioux. But to come in as 17 years old and say, okay, I'm going to dominate this any way that I want to, it's incredible. And then he did that in the NHL.
Yeah,
It was incredible.
they don't come through very often. I mean, we're watching Connor Bernard doing what he's doing out west. It's just sick. Yeah, just insanely good. How the skills of everybody. I mean, we came into camp. We weren't necessarily in shape.
Not the same.
No, it's not the same. Like we didn't have the training, we didn't have the nutrition, we didn't have everything going on. The kids today, the expectations, and I think why they're under a lot more pressure now, is it starts earlier, right? AAA hockey, the expectations are this: they're playing year round, all like just constantly, and they're being fed everything now. In a way, I'm kind of glad that I was kind of sheltered in my little hometown and just allowed to have fun. And my dad, God love him, and rest in peace. He passed away, but his best lesson when I came off the ice and got into the car is, did you have fun today? Yeah. Okay, let's go.
It's exactly what I say to my kid.
Yep, that's it.
To this day.
Well, there you go.
Because and that's such a great thing, because we talk about this constantly, how number one, the kids just can't go out and play. Like, you got to just go play. And then the kids that, and I know people will say, wow, everything you say, it's not the same, but it is. You went and played hockey because you liked it, and you didn't even think about AAA because it wasn't important. If you did that now, people go, you're nuts. You can't ever make it, right? Like, it's all about getting there. But and we talk about that with the parents all the time. It's like you add so much pressure on a kid. So I was aware of that because I've seen how kids, like in this business, I've seen it. I've done it as a player and as a coach. It's like you can just see parents getting right in their head. And part of being mentally tough is being able to forget about stuff. But the number one thing is in hockey, like if even at a pro level, right? When you start putting, and we'll get into the mindset stuff and stuff, but even at a pro level, junior level, you start getting in your head too much, you're done. You're done. You got to be able to have fun. Like, it is actually a fun game. So I've said that to my son all the time. I said after a game, if he played great, because if you got 3 goals, and if I say you play, what a great game, he remembers I got 3 goals, played a great game.
That's the feedback. Yeah.
If he doesn't get goals, and I go whatever, say something at all, then the feedback is, okay, didn't score. Okay, I have to perform based on points or whatever. So I just go, you have fun. And when he would say to me, yeah, Dad, that was a great game, why the hell would I say anything else? He thinks he's 8 or 12 years old.
Just let him go.
You had a great game, great. And then, but sometimes he would read like, why, Dad, do you not think so? And I go, no, whatever. And he goes, oh, what is it? So I just don't think you're, and the only thing I would ever say is I think you have better effort.
Well,
and then
I got 2 things on that. I was in Chicago. Mike Keenan was the coach, and he was tough, very demanding on the young guys, and that's where I was losing confidence. I wasn't having fun playing. We were getting a bag skate, and I just you could read my body language, just like I was just miserable.
He was eating it up, eh?
Oh yeah, he loved it. So Steve Smith comes to me, puts his arm around me, and says, "Benny, you'll last longer than the coach. Just go have fun out there." I'm like, yeah, okay. And then a couple of months later, he gets fired. But then they bring in Daryl Sutter, and he was even tougher. But there's a career guy, right? Had many years, and his main thing was just go have fun. Just forget about what's happening. Forget about what the coach is telling you. Forget about all the expectation. You got 18, 20,000 people in the stands, whatever's going on. Just go have fun. And now my son, right, talk about the kids in the game. He's last summer, he's a goalie playing AA for his Thunder team in Halton Hills. He's being recruited by AAA teams. And of course, all the parents know, oh, this is exciting. Your kid's getting, scouted, recruited. They literally offered him position on the team. Like, you don't have to try out, just we want you on the team. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? And he goes, I just kind of want to play with my friends. I said, that's great. Then do it. Forget about all this other stuff. If that's what you want to do, then just go and have fun. And as long as he's having fun, he'll keep playing, and he'll want to pursue at some point, because he was only 12, right? So at some point, maybe he makes a decision, this is what I want to do, but I got to let him run his own course. If I force it on him, and then now he's into the mix and he really doesn't want it, well, he's going to quit at
100%.
14, 15, because it's not fun
Or
anymore.
Quit, resent you, not be the happiest kid.
He's going to have missed out on other things because
Yeah.
of what AAA demands of you.
Yeah.
And to me, it's his life. It's his career or whatever. It's his sport. Do I get nervous when he's in the net? No, not at all, because it's not my game. Right? I want him to do well, of course, but a lot of parents, I see them up there and they're reacting like every time there's, the puck's in there, and then they're having a physical reaction because they've actually put themselves in the game as if it's their game. What they need to do is just become a spectator, right? Just cheer. Yep. All's good. Right. Have fun. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Right. And then that's it. Right, take the pressure off of these kids, and then they'll have fun. They'll figure it out. I mean, they're smart enough.
It's like everyone with me. It was like, why don't you coach it? I did it because a couple of the parents were like, please coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it when it was appropriate, when he was 8 and 9, 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Way before he went to AAA, and he loved it. So the question I asked him, so this is a different way of taking it from a coach, from a parent, is what I liked what you said about that is that you asked your son. You didn't suggest it.
Nope.
You asked your son, do you want to play AAA? You didn't say, I think you should, because now it changes his thinking, right?
Yep.
And that was what I used to do with the team, as I said, because we were a terrible hockey team, terrible hockey players. Mm-hmm. So we had, I think it was 17 guys try out.
Okay.
Essex, Ontario. There's no one. It's a farm town.
There's your team.
Yeah. So basically. It's like, okay. So I said, okay, I'm going to give you guys a choice. I'm going to coach you guys, and I could do it 2 different ways, or I can blend them or whatever. But you guys tell me. Could coach you and we'll have a blast, just have a lot of fun, and or I could coach you and you can learn a little bit about hockey, like a little bit of how to play the game, and I'll push you a little bit here, push you a little bit there. So they all said, we want to be good. I said, okay. So we had a ton of fun, but I was able to push them a little bit. But if I would have went in there as a coach and said, you guys, we're going to start winning games, and they didn't buy in at 10 years old, or do the other things that we're just going to have fun, then everyone's like, well, we want to win too. I want to learn something. So it was the same with my kid when he was coaching him. It's like, it was appropriate at that time, and there was like no pressure, just go have fun. But then when it was like, I didn't want to be my kid's coach. Like, number one,
I coach my girls. I understand. Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Different. I just want to watch. I wanted to enjoy watching my freaking kid play hockey, because I was coaching. I'd be like, yeah, teaching a kid something, then, oh, see that goal Charlie got? And I go, no, I didn't.
Yeah, missed.
So I wanted to watch and enjoy it. And there's nothing more than I love to this day, driving up to Guelph like a crazy dad to watch my son experience the freaking awesome experience that we had as players.
Yeah. Well, where a lot of people get lost, players, parents, coaches, is that you don't control wins and losses. Like everybody wants to win, and they're so focused on winning. Win. But you don't control whether you win or lose. The only thing you control is the effort that you put in, right? The systems perhaps that the coaches put in, following through on certain things. But it's the general effort, and it's the playing of the game. Then the outcome will determine itself based on how you perform during the game. But yeah, to already be thinking about, okay, we have to win, that's where their mindset goes to, and they start to panic, they start to get nerves. We don't want to make mistakes, and that's where the fear comes in for a lot of these guys. Instead of just, hey, Eric Lindros, let's go out for the next couple of shifts. This is what we're going to do. The next couple of shifts, let's just go do that. Keep them in the moment throughout the game, and at the end of the game, the results take care of themselves.
Yeah, right on. So let's dive into it a little bit. For me, when we talked about this on the phone, I say this all the time. People, when they're trying to be hockey players or anything in life, they focus on a lot of the physical parts. So I want to play hockey, so I need to work out. I need to work my shot, work my skating, this, that, the other thing. I need to, maybe it comes down to sleep and all that stuff. And everybody knows, because you've all heard it. Like if you ask anybody, what part of hockey is mental, and people will say, like, without even thinking, oh, it's 80%, it's 90%. Even if it was 10%, right? Whatever the number is, no one even really knows, right? But if you were to say it's whatever the number is, it's 80% mental. The next question is, well, how? So you should be training 80% mental. Should be training equivalent, or so. What I would say is that people train, if they train mental training at all, would be 0 to maybe 1%. Would you agree with that, or would you say more?
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
I mean, that's we're all missing the boat. We all know the importance. And Ken Dryden said hockey is 80% mental and the rest is in your head. So, right? The kids say they have a power skating coach. They've got a shooting coach. They've got their regular coaches that they work with. They might have a nutritionist. And then in the gym, they've got a fitness coach. At the very end of all that might be, and in most cases not, a mindset coach or a mental coach, a mental strength coach. Because what I think is, if you lose confidence, the rest goes to shit.
Well, we've both been there.
Okay, so you can practice all you want, and we've seen this. There's a lot of great practice players, right? They shine in practice. Get them into a game, you can't find them. Is that physical? No, it's mental. So they're not working on, and this is the great thing about what I'm doing with these kids is I'm adding that missing piece. Because nobody shows them this stuff. They certainly don't learn it at school. It's expected of coaches at a younger age. Well, you got to be mentally tough, Like, I was talking to that coach the other day. Well, just take their phones away, then they'll,
they're tough enough.
They'll do, yeah. They'll do what you want if you take their phone away. Come on. I mean, you need tools. So you got to coach it. So you got to understand how the brain works. You got to understand how focus works. You got to understand how the whole body and like the association. Right? I work a lot on neuroassociation, right? So the words that you speak have a brain reaction. The way that you move has a brain reaction. And you can build these over time to really strengthen the power so that when you come up against a roadblock, you're just ready to go around it. You don't see the roadblock anymore. You're looking for the opportunities to get around and keep going. And a lot of people, they hit that roadblock and they're done. Like mentally, they're done, they're drained. And when the brain goes, the body follows. So as much as you want to put the effort into the gym and doing everything else, they need to put as much or more effort into mental strength training. And there's guys like me out there that give you the tools to do it. And that's the key. I mean, we can go into a deep dive into their psyche about, why this is happening. Well, if you want instant change, here's how you do it. But then you need to apply it. Okay? You need to set up your day every day with the habits and rituals that will eventually get you to where you need to go. So once you create the habits, and I've said this all, many, many times before, first you create the habits and then the habits create you. So you need to put these things in place, then you need to have patience, and that's the key. Because everybody today is like instant results. I get it, but it's going to take time because this is a muscle that they haven't flexed, up till now. So
yeah, it's not magic.
It's not magic, but it can be if they apply it in the right time. Right? So when I'm working with the kids and so we prepare them, right? When this happens, this is how you respond. Because normally there's an automatic response, right? What I'm talking about, that neuroassociation. Referee makes a bad call. What does everybody do? Fly off the handle, slam sticks, all that sort of stuff. That's the neuroassociation that they currently have. So why don't we anticipate the next time the referee makes a bad call, and then let's change our reaction to this and see how you feel. And then if you institute that enough, eventually you just roll through it, all right? Referees are going to make bad calls. Coaches are going to make, wrong decisions. Let's just expect it. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to, miss an open net. So instead of slamming my stick or getting mad and then, All right, just expect it. Okay, I'm not going to be perfect. And that's, you know, a lot of the kids are under the perception that they have to be perfect, that they can't make mistakes because, you know, this is the pressure that they're under.
And it starts like I can wow, I'm thinking 12 easy. We look at some of the teams around here and coaches come in and this guy's shit. This guy, yeah, he can't get the puck out, you know, over and over. And it's like they start expecting perfection when kids are young. But I can understand it, you know, especially now that I watch my son in that big environment of the OHL where it's the stakes are higher, right? It's your school's paid for, you're trying to be a pro, coaches are getting paid. He wants to move to the NHL mostly. So now when you make a mistake, it's like, well, maybe I'm not ready for this league. So it's
Right.
like
It's amplified.
It's amplified. That's the
Right.
word I was going to use.
Right.
So now, like, I can understand it there, but then we have to you got to be able to turn
You have
that
to
off.
refocus. Yep.
So what I'm gonna just say my this is I'm gonna give you my philosophy on mindset, and it's very very small, but it's effective to a certain degree. And I want you to maybe take that a little bit farther because with your experience and how you're coaching through it, and then maybe we can look at like maybe some of the most common things that you see from a player when you're talking to them, or maybe even yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, when I like, it's very very basic, but it's true. What the hell is mental toughness? Right? It's like confidence is part of it. You know, how do you not lose your confidence and stuff? But it's being able to perform when something's important and it matters to you, right? So can you perform through when something's matter and it means something to you, and then it's being able to stay present. So in my experience, the biggest thing that people do is, you know, we do it with podcasts. If I think, oh, this has got to be a good podcast, if I think too much about it, like, what are you going to do about it? Right. So if you have a big, like you'll hear parents say, big game tonight, big tournament, big event. So what happens is the kids make this thing bigger than actually what it is. And it's like you have zero control of how big it's going to be. The bottom line is all you can do is what you can do when you're there. So nothing is really that big.
You nailed it. Can I just say that?
Yeah, for sure.
You nailed what mental strength is, and that is being present, staying in the present. That is the key to it all. Honestly, it's about where your focus goes, look at the brain is wired. The brain is wired to look for what's wrong, to protect you. So it's always looking for, you know, things lurking around the corner.
Yeah.
It's
Hear a
always,
noise,
you know,
right?
out in the future. It's worried about what could happen there. You make a mistake, it's thinking about what happened in the past. The brain is always looking to protect you. So the key to mental strength, and as you said, is being able to stay in the present. So when a mistake happens, it's gone, reset, and now I got to do this. What I tell the players is, you always have to focus on the task at hand, because the task at hand is in the present. Okay, what do I need to do right now?
Which is
Which
what
could
you
be
can control. Control what you can control. That's
exactly right, because you got to let that go. If a mistake happens, the brain wants to stay there.
Yep.
Right. It wants to analyze it. Wants to figure out why that happened. It wants to punish you for making the mistake. Your job in mindset and mental strength is being able to control your focus. So not to get ahead, right? When everybody's talking about we have to win this game, or this is a big year, you know, this is a big game, a big tournament, not to get ahead, but to stay right in the moment, because in the moment is what you can control. And this is what people need to understand. There's only two things that they can control. One being focus and the other being behaviors. In the middle of all that, after focus, it becomes your thoughts. Thoughts lead to emotions. Emotions lead to body sensations. So, for instance, if you're nervous, okay, you have butterflies. That's the body sensations. Why? Because you're focused on something that's in the future, right? The unknown. It creates thoughts of, oh, this, you know, either this is big or I can't make a mistake or whatever. Leads to the emotions, which means I start, you know, like nervousness and so on. Then body sensations. You can still perform, because normally players, after the first couple of shifts, oh, the nerves go away. Well, why is that? because now you're into
You're,
it.
you're in the moment.
Right. Now you're into the
Yeah.
moment. Why not get in the moment before the game? Right? Why are you setting your focus up into the future? If you can control your focus, you're always going to be present. You're always going to be in peak performance mode, and you can always control what's going on. So that's, it's a misnomer that, okay, the self-talk and all this, negative things going on in my head, I can't control. Absolutely, you can control it. It's just based on exactly where you're focused in that moment. So once you become aware of it, well, then change it. But you have to practice this. It's a routine that you have to set and do.
Okay, so I've read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of people, and just because I'm probably really focused on what you're saying right now, it's a really good way. Like I get lost. I'm being honest with you, I get lost. Like if I would have just heard you say, thoughts create emotions, emotions create
Body sensations.
Right.
Right.
I would have turned the channel off. Like not turn it off. I would have said, okay, yeah, but I wouldn't have remembered that. But like when you put it in a added to the sentence that says, so if you're thinking about, or let's say you made a mistake in a game, your thoughts go into the mistake. Your mistake makes you feel, well, what does that do? You go, oh man, I'm playing like shit. I can't do that again. I'm having a bad game, or I need to fix it. And it changes your attitude so that you're in that negative state.
You
or
carry
you're in
it with you.
You carry it with you. So that's a really good way to play it. So I want to think of maybe an example of another kid, or do you have an example that you worked with a kid where you could just boom like that? Like you identify that, or is that just
the way to change it is first you got to become aware that it's happening. And so most people get caught into a negative loop. They don't understand that they actually have the power to change it. Or it might take them a while, or something else has to happen for them to take their focus and redirect it. You can change it instantly if you know how to do it, but it takes practice.
okay? So how do we do it?
It's called the AAA model. Okay. And so for all of our AAA guys out there,
nice.
This is how they know how to do it. Yeah. First you be aware. Okay.
Yes.
And that it sounds easy, but most people get stuck. Like, oh, I can't.
Okay. In life though,
bitter.
Well, yeah. In life though,
yeah.
People are not aware.
No, they're not aware.
You're sitting with someone and they're eating beside you.
Yeah.
It's like you're not aware that you're chomping your food, dude.
Right. Yeah.
So awareness is like a real thing.
Right.
Be self. No, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, you're not aware that you have plumber's ass. How could you not be aware? Don't you feel it?
Well,
right.
Well, for parents out there, road rage. Okay. Somebody cuts them off or whatever. Instantly, they get upset. That's the neuro association we're talking about. Instantly, they get upset. They probably curse. They probably honk the horn. They get into that.
You follow me on
state.
the way in today?
They get into that state. Okay, so parents will understand. Okay, they just naturally go into that state. What they need to first do, and look with coaching, you can prepare for that. Okay, you can prepare for that road rage, right, where that guy's going to cut you off. Instead of having that automatic response, now you give the opposite response. That's a whole deep dive that I go into when I'm doing my coaching. However, first thing that you have to do is you got to be aware. That's the A in AAA. Okay, the first A. Second is you have to accept it. Okay, accept that you're not perfect. Accept that mistakes are going to happen. Don't try and analyze it. Don't try and study it. Why did it happen? Nope. You know what? I got a great line for myself that I use that people can use themselves. When I make a mistake, I just look in the mirror and say, be kind. You're a work in progress. You're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen. So be aware. That's the toughest one. But once you're aware, you accept it and then change your attention. So refocus your attention back to the task at hand, what needs to get done. A la Eric Lindros, today I'm going to do this and whatever. So that can happen literally in 15 seconds if you know how to do it, if you take control. For most of them, they just get into that, that negative loop. They beat themselves up. They carry it with them for the next shift or two or three, and then it compounds. Something else happened. Well, this, and then they just keep going down that road. And as I said, the brain is wired to find what's wrong. You might miss 10 other things that you did perfectly. A nice pass here, a nice chip out here, the good dump here, the back check here. You've done all these great things. You don't think about it. You make the one mistake, the brain goes, there it is. Okay, and then, that's what your focus goes. let it go. AAA, be aware, oh, I'm focused on the wrong thing, accept it. Okay, let's just set up, this is what I'm doing next shift. And it can change. That's why that hockey is great that way, because you have a chance after that shift to get back out, reset, and then fire out the next shift on full max. It's a powerful thing if you know how to control it. But parents will understand with road rage. They're not in control at that moment.
We're missing an A though, right? Is there one more?
No, attention. So awareness, acceptance, and attention. So refocus the attention, AAA. And anybody can use it, but there's also the way, of preparing for events, right? So what I have my clients do is we're like, okay, what's going to happen in a game? Like, give me a couple of things that are going to upset you in a game. Well, if I make a mistake, okay, write that down. I'm going to make a mistake. Okay, I might be specific. Okay, I'm going to miss the net, miss an open net. Okay, what's your natural response to that? Well, I'm going to slam my stick. I'm going to get upset, and I'm going to have these negative thoughts happen. So,
or you're going to say something as small as, shit.
Right. You're gonna lose.
Should have got that one. Like
right.
That would have been one I didn't have.
Right.
Whatever, that kind of stuff.
So let's anticipate that you're going to make a mistake, and then we say, what kind of response do you really want? Right? Do you want to let the other team know that you made a mistake, or do you want to say, always be in control? Well, I want to be in control. Okay. Well, then here's the response we're going to do, and then we set up a bunch of different possibilities that they can do. One is to laugh it off. Right? You talk about the opposite to emotions, right? It's if my natural response is to get upset, and now if I change it to laughing it off, okay, now the neuroassociation that usually takes me down is now in a positive state. Oh, I can't believe I did that. That's hilarious. And then get right back into it. And there's a great story of a pitcher, and this is 2010, and I wish I could remember his name. He had a perfect game going. He had a perfect game through 9 2/3 innings. It's the Detroit Tigers, okay? And I somebody will know the name out there. And then on that third out in the 9th inning for a perfect game, the ump makes the wrong call.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. The batter
right.
hits it to first base.
Yeah.
Pitcher runs over, covers the base, catch, out. Referee goes, safe. Perfect game down the tube. Do you remember the response of the pitcher? He smiled. He smiled. And then he got the next batter out. Yeah. His emotional response to that really powerful event, right? He could have been in the history books, was washed out by a wrong
Someone
call.
else's mistake.
Somebody else's mistake. And he stood on the bag and he smiled and he laughed.
Like, are you kidding me right now?
And everybody on the field just calmed down. Now, if he had lost his mind, everybody would have lost their mind, right? Now, of course, the manager comes out to protect his players, but that's what I'm talking about, right? Instead of having the automatic response that sends you down and brings this rage, right? He has the opposite.
Yeah, because that's the biggest you can think of. Or how about who was it? Dallas Stars, Edmonton Oilers. It was not long after you played.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas was you just had Stefan.
Open net. Yeah, falls down. Yeah, misses the open net.
Honestly, it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, that's another response.
But it wasn't his fault. I mean, if you really watch it slowly, the puck jumps.
Puck jumps. That happens.
Right? I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it's not going to happen a million more times, but that time it did.
So again, so one of them is going to be you're going to make a mistake. Okay, so let's set up a response to that. The other one is the referees are going to make a wrong call, or they're going to make a call that you don't agree with. Let's set up an opposite to emotion response, and it could be that one where I'm just going to laugh it off, like I can't, wrong call, or just okay, let's go kill it. Like just set something up in advance. Now you're prepared. Okay, and you're not going to let emotions take over. You're always in control, and you're always in the moment because you've prepared for it. It's like going to the gym and you're flexing. You're ready for the day that you need to use those muscles. And when you're coaching and practicing this stuff, when it happens, I'm ready to go, and I just keep going. Okay, I mean, look at Tiger Woods, best golfer for 20 years, whatever. He hits a bad shot, right? He's not perfect. But what is he the best at? The next one, right? Resetting for the next one. So hockey players need to be able to do that too.
Yeah. As simple as the solutions that you gave, like it might sound simple, it takes some work. And with me being a dad, and this, I think this is a lesson for parents, is that you can take a lot of pressure off by just giving those little tools. It's what, you know, when Charlie would have something emotionally, like, or something that would happen, you could see it would do it. It's like, you know, I taught him, like, there's nothing you can do about it. Forget it. And he's actually very good at it. So he's able to deal with um, adversity. Like, one of the things that he says all the time, he goes, "Dad, I remember you told me." And Dalton Prout, who's up there, he played for Columbus and New Jersey and San Jose. Anyways, he told him that never listen to a coach's tone, listen to the message. And it's done him wonders, because, you know, coach will snap on him and it's like, you know, because what's the difference of, can you pass me your water, or pass me your water? It's the same words. It's how you take those words, right? So so going through, like, staying in the present, like, I hope kids and parents can listen to that message, because when kids are snapping, a parent, like, it's so easy, it's not so easy, but it's so simple to put them back in line, put them right between the lines, and they can keep going, instead of, like, adding gas to the fire. You can sit there, like, in a calm way, say, okay, I don't like, so the coach didn't didn't play, you know, didn't you missed some shifts, okay, so we can blame, which we feel is one of the biggest things that people, instead of taking responsibility, they blame. But by just saying, hey, what can you do about it, is, you know, stay in the present,
What
do
do you
this, and
have control
what do you
over?
have control over,
Yeah.
is control what you control.
Yeah.
So
There's, yeah, the athlete needs to understand that they only control their performance. You know, ice time is out of their hands. If they're in or out of the lineup is out of their hands. They only control, you know, their performance, and then their attitude towards how am I going to get back in, or what do I need to do to get, you know, into the lineup or onto the power play or something if that's missing. What I love about what I do is, although my clients are all athletes, what I teach them is transferable. They can use it in school. They can use it in life. They can use it in relationships. They can, you know, their jobs that they're going to be coming down the road, whatever. It will apply. These are the tools that successful people use in their respective field. They're all related. So you can't be successful with a negative mindset. You have to know what you want. And once you zone in on what you want, the road to get there becomes clearer. All right. So what do I need to do today? Well, these are the steps that I need to do and eventually get me to where I need to go. But it all starts with, you know, the vision. You need to know what you want long term. And I have my guys have, you know, different, we call it a goal pyramid. So, okay, for sport, what's your goal? Okay, be specific. You know, that whole SMART mentality, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time sensitive. All right, let's set that. What do you want in school? Let's set that one too. And these are different pyramids. What do you want in life? Okay, well, let's set one over here. You might have 3, 4 different goal pyramids, but that's what you know to do in the morning. When you get up, at the base of the pyramid are all the little things that I need to do, right? I need to get to school on time, and I need to be prepared. I need to get to the gym, and I need to work out, because that's on this goal pyramid. And your whole day is set up. Now the decisions about life become easier. Instead of being in a fog and, you know, somebody like, oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? You're like, no, here's what I need to do, because these are going to take me to where I want to go. It's a very powerful thing. Once you decide what you want, life becomes a lot easier. And so I love that these guys, you know, my clients, if they make it in hockey or not, it's not important to me. Might be to them. I just want to make sure they have tools that they can use in all aspects of their life.
yeah, that's what I say about raising kids, right? Like, you know, you can look at parents that, I've never had a problem with um, our kids, but Charlie specifically, just, I'm using this from the hockey perspective, is, you know, we always use the thing like, um, Dad, there's a, when he was in Bantam, I guess it was, Dad, there's a high school dance that everyone's going to on Friday. There's nothing wrong with a high school dance, but there is something wrong with a high school dance, because, well, not really, but what happens is, I've always said, you hang out with the people that are of the same like mind, and when you get outside of that, that's where trouble starts. So, anyways, the Friday night dance was, I said, okay, so, like, so I never said no, you can't go. I let his goals and his dreams. That's what I always say is like, if you have big goals, big dreams, I can steer that ship. So it'd be like, okay, yeah. So what time's it at? Yeah. Who's all going? All the kids from school. Okay. So what do you got tomorrow? I got a game. Oh, you think that's a good idea to go? And they starts thinking, I got 3 games. Yeah, maybe I should stay in. Yeah. And I say, well, the other thing, Charlie, is you got guys that, I'll explain to them, like, there's smoking, there's this, that other thing. This is when he was a kid, right? He goes, yeah, maybe I'll just stay home. I've never had to deal with it. And for most things, it's just easy as a parent. Like if you can, that's why. So we do this for players, parents, and coaches. All our podcasts, we try to make it applicable for everybody. That's why I think that when parents hear these messages, it's like it's really important that they get it as much as the player, not to shove it down their throat, but it's to say, no, you're just off track here. There's what you focus on. Here's what you focus on, and then raising your kid becomes much easier. And then
Sure.
they're a lot more
accountable.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
because it's not you telling them, well, you need to do this. It's like, okay, what did you say?
Yeah, I thought you
you
told
wanted
me
to.
you wanted to be a hockey player.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so much easier, man.
right.
Yeah,
When they have the goals written out. The next thing is to share it with their family. Like, mom and dad, these are the things that I want. If I get off track, mom and dad are going to keep me on, put me back into my lane again, right? That dance or whatever. There's a price to pay, right? People don't know. Many times they don't know what the price is going to be when they make that dream. They may go down the road and go, okay, this isn't for me. That's fine. Then change it, right? If you're not willing to pay the price, which might mean missing out on school dances, school trips. I missed all those things,
same here,
right?
man.
I paid
Missed
the
it,
price.
but I didn't miss it at all.
Right. In the end, you
Yeah.
don't miss it,
Yeah.
right? Because you're around like-minded people. You become who you surround yourself with or who you aspire to be. So if you have that environment, you're fine. If you waver out of what you want, not only are you going to be uncomfortable, you're going to make everybody else uncomfortable because it's not a good situation to be in. So if you want to maintain control, know what you want, and then lead that life. And like I said, create the habits, and then the habits will create you. Going partying, all that fun stuff that a lot of people have. Well, guess what? They have a different goal or a different dream. It's not yours. You need to live
Doesn't
yours.
make them bad people. It just makes
No,
them
it
different.
just makes them different. Yeah. If this is what you want, then this is what you need to do, and you got to pay the price.
Well, as we know, that's the window of opportunity to get there is very short. And then the good thing and the bad thing about this sport is like, unlike other sports, well, tennis and stuff like that's different, but like other team sports, um, typically you go to college and you don't become a pro till, the pressure's not on you at 16. It's more like 18. And those 2 years, 18, 20, right? So you got a little time to kind of sort life out. But as a hockey player, it's like you still have time, but it's more beneficial if you're dialed in at a lot younger age.
Yeah, so this might surprise many people, but the average freshman hockey player, and you can Google it, NCAA average freshman hockey player is 21. So they're not leaving high school and going into the NCAA. That doesn't happen. Now, what changed was universities found out, well, we can't win with 19, 20-year-olds, but we can win with 24 and 25-year-olds. So we're going to pick our guys a little bit later. So that means they're going to have to spend time in junior hockey. And for a lot of these kids, it's going to be the Tier 2 Junior A, or in the States, it's USHL, the NOL, whatever opportunities they have. You're going to have to spend time there. But it's a great time to learn your craft because now you're living it, right? In junior hockey, you're on your own. For a lot of people, it's the first time they're out of the house. Now they are exposed to a lot more things that they weren't when they were under mom and dad's roof. You're going to have decisions to make, and if you can stay on that track, you'll be fine, or your chances of success will be higher.
Yeah, you increase your chances.
You increase the chance. It doesn't guarantee success.
Nothing does, yeah.
But it increases the chances if you're making the right decisions along the way.
Yeah, 100%. So let me ask you this: what brings people to you? So what's the most common issue that you hear all the time? Like, I need help with this, or is there something else that brings someone to you?
Most common is confidence, right, or nervousness before a game.
Okay.
And I gotta.
So confidence.
Yeah. Confidence
and lack of confidence and like nervousness.
Yeah, just they're nervous before a game. It goes with confidence. That's the body sensation of a lack of confidence. Okay, so what they're focused on is usually that they don't want to make a mistake. They're thinking about the outcome we've talked about. You know, their mindset is in the future. And if they've made a mistake in the past, they'll relive that over and over. If they're in a slump, that's all they think about. And I was coaching a boy last night. He's in a slump. He's counting the games. Right? It's been 11 games. Okay, well, don't count. you know, like, you know, you
Yeah.
just keep adding to it. Well, is this going to be game 12?
It's
Where they don't
Groundhog Day
score? Is
now.
this going to be? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Don't count. Right? It's like you know, it's like an alcoholic who said, I'm 50 days sober. Stop counting. You're either sober or you're not. Okay, so if you want to get out of a slump, forget it. Don't think about the slump. It's not 11 games. It's, you know, whatever. It is, okay, I got another game, right? And here's another opportunity that I get to score, right? So get excited for it instead of fearing that I may not score and I'm going to add to it and everybody's counting, you know, now it's 12 games, whatever. So what's the most common? It's lack of confidence and nervousness. And if people understand and I relate because I'll be honest here, there's two kinds of mindset. There's the fixed mindset, which thinks they know everything, are very hard to coach. They hate criticism. That was me. I identify that now. I didn't know it at the time, right?
So you took the criticism as
I took it personally.
criticism.
I took it personally.
Like it wasn't like someone trying to coach you.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So
It
coaching
was
is criticism
yeah.
sometimes.
I internalized it. I suck. I'm not good enough, and this is where my confidence went down. I didn't recognize I had a fixed mindset, and I felt like I had to be perfect. If I couldn't do something great right away, I just wouldn't do it. Right? If I couldn't play piano when I first sat down, no, that's not for me. So that's a fixed mindset. Where success happens is if you have a growth mindset, and you have to change it if you are fixed, but you have to be aware, right? Aware, accept, and then refocus. So get to a growth mindset that says everything that somebody says to me is a learning experience. So if a coach dumps on me, what is he trying to tell me? Is it true? Like analyze it. Like, okay, internalize it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm not giving 100% today or whatever it is. And then go for it. Right? But keep pushing. The two different mindsets are very powerful. And for a lot of the kids, they have a fixed mindset. And that's where the kids, when they first run into obstacles, they might be the best kid in, AAA, '09 and then, or Bantam, whatever. They're the best kid, and then they fall off. Why? Because now they're being challenged and they're not perfect anymore, and they fall off because they got a fixed mindset. The growth mindset, he's the turtle in the race. You got the hare and the turtle. The fixed mindset is, I'll get there. I'll keep going. I'll keep working. And then they surpass. And that's the same thing that I'm seeing in kids. Sometimes you have to fix and identify, are they fixed or growth? And then let's move forward from there. But everything's a learning experience. It's tough for kids that if they don't understand how it works, they'll struggle.
So I would say that's very, very common with skill building as well. So I find you can identify those kids very quickly, because let's say we're doing I'm showing them a specific shot. So like, and I never just say, here's your shot. This is what we're going to do. It's always like, this is what we're going to work on, and this is why. So like, let's say in a specific shot, we want to keep our feet moving so that we're not telegraphing a shot. The puck needs to be here, and it needs to be shoot it from this, or else it doesn't work, right? So it's just taking everything into one. So that's a lot to unpack. So it's got to start with baby steps. So you can't take that shot unless it's in the proper position. So like, first thing we have to fix is your foot movement and where you're stick handling. If you're stick handling way too wide, that's going to be telegraphed at some point. So it's got to be it's a different type of stick handling. You start with that. So then right from there, you can see kids go, they're in or they're out.
Yeah.
Like that fast.
Yeah. It's fixed or it's growth.
It's fixed or it's growth. So some kids can accept the fact that, or they can ask the question like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Or is it like this? Is it like this? And the other kids go, yeah.
Yeah.
And that kid never, ever gets it.
Yeah. And when he can't perform
this is something that they love.
Yeah. And then when he can't take the shot the way he wants it to, he quits and goes back to his old
Yeah,
shot,
or I don't
or
like.
he won't try it
Yeah, I
anymore.
don't shoot like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a fixed
that's
mindset.
fixed as hell.
Exactly. So he'll only get to a certain level. He'll only hit a certain peak, and then he's done, unless he changes into a growth mindset. I was a fixed mindset. I will acknowledge, I thought I knew everything. I felt like I had to be perfect. I couldn't make mistakes. Coach's criticism I took personally, and it stunted me until I figured out, oh, okay, there's another way over here, and it's the growth mindset. Now I can receive criticism. No, nobody likes criticism, but it's all about how you handle it, how you perceive it, and who it's coming from. Should I accept this criticism, or should I just let it go? Right? Do I believe in myself that I can do certain things? Perfect. If I can't, then okay, yeah, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Ask questions. Those are the growth mindset guys that ask questions. Coach, tell me about this again. Show me that again, and I'm going to try it, and I'm going to figure it out too. That's a growth mindset. Those are powerful people.
Yeah, 100%. So what about is there anything else that you want to go into? Good. You want to anything at all?
Well,
No, go ahead. Tell me.
whatever is I'd love to work with you. So any of your players that are struggling, I'd love to come back and keep coaching and helping your following. You have a huge following, so if they need anything, just to reach out, contact me. But I'd love to be a part of what you got going on. You obviously have a great great program, and I just want to add that little piece to it.
Yeah, like and that's no, it's good. I mean, I'm really glad that we did this today. The thing that I like about this conversation is, like I said before, is that you were a player, and a very good one, that is honest enough to say, here were my limitations, and what you feel is mostly it was mental. So if it was mental from a guy that was a second overall pick in the OHL and sixth overall in the NHL, then it's probably a good chance that that's a roadblock for a lot of people. So as a hockey player, if this is something that or a parent to reach out, I mean, I would encourage it strongly. I mean, I do some of that myself, but you got a whole different way of doing it, and I love it. So it's
the way that I work. If people want to understand, when you go to the gym, you basically start with a baseline test, right? How many push-ups, how many sit-ups. Let's see where you are today. And I do the same thing. We have a mental assessment that will give me a readout of your strengths and weaknesses mentally. So that's where we start. Then we get into the coaching, and then I do it online, right, through Google Meet. And I have clients in the States. I have clients in Europe, and all over Canada. I'm able to connect with them, as frequently as they want. And we do our coaching session where I give them the tools that they can use. And we talk about the camaraderie. What do people most when they leave the game? It's the guys. Being in the dressing room, having the fun, and all that good stuff. So I want players to appreciate what they have now. Like be grateful for the experience that they're having right now, and like just feel it, right? Because these are the best years right now. Yes, there's lots of great things to come, but you always look back on your years with the boys as being some of the best.
That's the best,
Even if it was Sudbury.
Yeah,
we won't hold that against you.
Yeah. No, it was, man. It was great.
Yeah,
and that's great. So yeah, we'll connect for sure after this, and of course, AdamsChampionMindset.com.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put a thing on it, and
yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, we got a lot of people that listen to these, and it's well worth at least dipping your toes into it, because I think for me it's you just watch kids and parents like that's together. Really, it's sometimes the kids have it pretty good together, then the parents will just put gas on the fire and just make it worse. So it's good for everybody to
they invest a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like we said, they have a power skating coach, skills coach, nutritionist, fitness coach. They invest a lot.
Yeah.
They should invest in mental strength, a mental coach.
Yeah.
That should almost be forefront.
Yeah.
It's always the forgotten piece, until they lose confidence, and it's like, oh, well, maybe we should pick this up.
And that's what I was going to say. Is like a lot of the times when like we have a lot of people that write in or ask questions, and it's almost like sheepishly don't want to ask questions because it makes them maybe appear weak, parents and coaches, right? So I think when people think of the mental or the mindset and all that stuff, some people could look at it as a negative. You know what I mean? Like they're weak because they have to go into the mindset.
Yeah.
Like, oh, because I'll
Right.
like even someone coming in for a shooting, if they wanted to learn shooting, it's like they're good, but no. You don't have to say but. You don't have to say qualify it.
Yep.
We'll figure it out. So I think that people, it's not like you're sick.
Yeah.
It's not
no,
like
no.
that's
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
mean. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like you're. We're gonna reinvent the whole wheel. Like the actual strategies that you use are not like the basic part. Anyways, it's not rocket science, but it has to be a lot of times coached and reminded and nudged to do the right things. And when you understand the basics of it, then you can keep diving deeper. But once you understand the basics of it, it actually does change your life, change your game, change your attitude, change everything about you, your habits. And like you say, you create your habits, create your future, right?
It is. So, if you set your day up, if you set your life up, if you know what you want, chances of success are much greater. But it's taking control over that situation. And most, like I said, parents think either they have it or they don't. Right, mental strength or whatever, and they don't want to identify it as a weakness or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about setting up these my clients for long-term success as a person. Right, so it should be taught in school. It's not. I mean, we all know the power of the mental strength.
100%.
They don't teach it in school. We all know the power of financial knowledge. They don't teach it in school.
No.
So if we want to give everything to these kids, if we really want to help them out, then we need to help out the whole person. And it all starts with the mindset.
Yeah. Good. So I think we'll wrap it up because I think you got to get back to Kitchener.
I got to get back. I got coaching calls this afternoon.
Awesome.
So back on the road.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
No, awesome. It was
really
great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great. Awesome.